Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with jazz guitarist Rez Abbasi about his new 2019 CD, Throw of the Dice. So, comprehending the vastness of music's evolution over almost a century, even in terms of jazz and world of music alone, can be pretty mind-blowing. Yet Rez spans the arc with an original release of quintet music based on a film called A Throw of Dice, a vintage black and white Indian-German silent film from 1929. He talks about this project and another one he's involved in, along with so much more. So please dig this interview, my friends.
Okay, so Rez, thank you for taking a minute out for Neon Jazz to talk about Throw of the Dice. I appreciate it, man.
Oh, absolutely, Joe. It's good to hear from you again.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So talk to me a little bit about this album. What was your vision for this project?
Well, it's interesting you say vision because the vision was already solidified by the film. It's a film score to a black and white silent film from India, based from a German director, based on the Mahabharata, which is a story, epic Sanskrit story from India. One of the two. It's a silent film, and in that sense, it's already a done sort of entity. You know, it's a masterpiece as it lies with itself. I had to sort of engineer a personal sound towards this film without overtaking the film, but yet, you know, holding on to this element of personalized music, which, you know, it became an album because I felt like the music it breathed and lived on its own, as opposed to sort of background music to a film, which is more of a modern concept, right? So it was a lot less backgroundy. So that's the essence of the project. I mean, it was a commission to write, but to be played, to be performed live as well. So that was the interesting thing. We did do it live twice. That was pretty overwhelming, I got to say. So, everything's right in time, you know. It's like, oh, you can't make a mistake, or if you do, you got to move on. Because the film's not stopping for you. You can't improvise yourself out of that like you do in jazz, let's say, and you know, if you're as an instrumental quartet or a quintet. If someone makes a mistake, whatever, okay, give it 4 more bars. We'll take the head out. You know, yeah. With this, it's nothing like that. The whole movie's moving forward. So
this is your 13th album, your first film score. So my question is, you know, with all of your other albums, you have that latitude, like you said, to just do what you do. If something happens, you redo. Or if there's happy accidents, you're good. But with the film score, what kind of pressure is it to have something that is kind of set in stone? You have to get into that mood. You have to kind of adapt and get into what you're creating for.
It's a great process, you know. For one, you know, you're subservient, you know, to something that's there, and it's a milestone. You know, it's a really great film, A Throw of Dice, and sort of one of its kind. So in one sense, like, it's a matter of adjusting yourself, but at the same time, you know, you don't want to give yourself up to the film. So, you know, I got a lot of inspiration from the characters, from the scenes, like the you know, the buildings, let's say, the architecture. You know, it's an Indian film from 1929. So I wasn't in India in 1929. So here these guys captured all this beauty for me to enjoy later on, and for everybody to enjoy. So as a musician, a composer, all that stuff really helped me sort of dive in hard, and you know, very different from writing your own record, which would be, let's say, a jazz record, without any kind of otherworldly or other musical ideas. It's sort of this precedence is set that, you know, these characters, if they move one way, you know, or if they sort of show anger in their face, let's say, well, that's got to come out in the music some way, you know, maybe not directly. You don't have to be so direct, but indirectly, it has to, you know, you can't be playing a happy part, let's say, when someone's having a fight, you know. That wouldn't make sense. With the jazz, you know, with the record that's just purely sort of instrumental without any of this, I can do anything I want. So, you know, I can, as a composer, I can move to different sections at will, whenever I want, whatever I want to do, dissonance or, you know, whatever emotion that I want to evoke at that time. But with this, it's like it's dictated already. So that was very inspirational, you know, to have something sort of formed out, you know, laid out as a platform already. I've never done that before. And it might be akin to working with dancers, which I have, but even different because, first of all, no one's alive anymore from this film, I don't think. I mean, the director and production people, they're obviously not. So no one's telling me anything. There's no directives, to be had here other than the film where, when you're working with dancers, there is a little bit of a push and pull and a collaborative effort there, which is a live and real-time collaboration. So, yeah, that's the inspiration that came from the film, yeah.
Beautiful. And, Rez, I think that gives me a great tapestry of this project and how you created it. I'm looking forward to spinning it on Neon Jazz, so thanks for taking some time out and opening up about this project.
Absolutely. And you know about the other project, right? Did we mention that, the Oasis? Did you get that yet?
I don't think I have.
Oh, okay. Well, that's. I'll just push that as well, if you don't mind. It's a project. Yeah, it's a project with harpist Isabelle Olivier from France, and we received a grant from the French American Cultural Exchange Program. We composed new music for harp, acoustic guitar, and we also featured tabla and drum set. And that's actually coming on November 15th also. It's called Oasis. And that's a very interesting, I did an arrangement of my favorite things, which, wow, like, why would you do that, right? But in this sense, it was really interesting because of the instrumentation, and it's not the typical sort of jazz ensemble. I just got back from Paris yesterday. We just did our CD release, debut, and there's more coming up. We're performing in different areas. That's an interesting project too. Extremely different than the film project that I just did.
Right on. Well, cool, man. Sounds like everything's going pretty good, pretty busy, and new project. So, yeah, right on, man. And again, man, thank you very much for taking some time out. I appreciate it.
Yes, Joe. Take care, and hopefully we'll see you.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in New York, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Rez for his time, music, and stories. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit Neon Jazz at youtube.com for everything Neon Jazz all the time. Go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.